Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day, your week, and your weekend have been going very well so far. This is Clash of the Titans, a video series here at Guy Boston Sports, where I go through each and every single ranked on ranked matchup throughout the entire college football season, giving you guys deeper insight, deeper analysis, but more importantly, more picks for each of these big time pivotal college football showdowns. In today's video, we are breaking down number 7 ranked Indiana, going on the road to take on number 3 ranked Oregon in a massive Big Ten battle with big time playoff implications and even bigger implications for the Big Ten championship. And as always, guys, I've got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. Make sure to check out our other college football content on the channel. This is one of 3 Clash of the Titans videos dropping on the channel this week. By the time this video comes out, the first 2 videos, Ohio State, Illinois, and then Alabama, Missouri, those 2 videos are already out, as well as our full Week 7 college football picks slate. So make sure to go ahead and check those out, and please subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and break down the game of the week. Indiana at Oregon, 3:30 p.m. kickoff on Saturday today. I've got 3 picks to share with you guys in today's video. We have a spread pick, we have a total play, and we have a player prop to close out the video. Guys, comment down below who you think is winning this big time matchup. We'll start off with the spread pick here, and I'm not leaving anything a secret. I love Oregon in this spot, and so my first pick in today's video is Oregon on the spread minus 6.5. We'll jump over to the outlier screen to go ahead and break this down a bit. Now, the actual spread itself is 8.5 points. 7.5 points. I'm shaving a point down to make it a little bit more of a favorable line. So minus 6.5. I'm grabbing it for best odds available to me, minus 130 over on FanDuel. As always, guys, make sure to shop around for the best sportsbook odds available to you guys. This game is what Clash of the Titans is all about. These are literally 2 Titans going head-to-head, 2 top 10 teams. They're honestly pretty evenly matched, which is why the spread being 6.5 is a little strange until you think about the reason why. And I think that reason why the spread is where it is because the public, or at least the sportsbooks, understand Curt Cignetti in Indiana. I'm not going to go as far and say that he is a complete James Franklin, but he is dangerously close in that ballpark. Indiana, when they played top competition over the last couple of years, they've just fallen short. Mainly focusing on last year, which was kind of Curt Cignetti, and Indiana's breakout season. Last year, you saw when they played teams equal to or less than the quality of them, they dominated, they cruised, they won. When they played teams a little above them or way above them, they lost. And it's kind of, like I said, I don't want to say he's a full James Franklin, but you can see that trend, that James Franklin type trend starting to happen with Curt Cignetti. Now, Oregon obviously having home field advantage is also huge here. Both teams have the same rest advantage. They're both coming off of bye weeks, so they're both rested. They both had extra time to go ahead and prep for this game. Oregon obviously coming off of a massive win against Penn State. Their last game out was huge on the road. Whiteout game, took care of business and won by 6 points. Indiana, the last time we saw them, they did win on the road at Iowa, but it was an ugly game. They got away with a win 20-15 in that spot. Ultimately, guys, one of the biggest reasons I'm fading Indiana here is, like I mentioned, is that fact that I'm still not convinced that Curt Cignetti and Indiana can win the big games. Now, they did have a ranked win this year, and a massive ranked win at that. Go ahead and look at just 2025 here. They played Illinois, who at the time, by the way, was a top 10 ranked team in the country. Now, Illinois today is ranked number 17. They play Ohio State today. But at the time that they played Indiana, Illinois was a top 10 ranked team. I believe they were number 9 in the country. And Indiana didn't just win that game. They destroyed Illinois 63-10. They killed them. Really bad loss for Illinois. Huge win for Indiana. And I feel like a lot of people took that Illinois win and said, this is Indiana now. They've figured it out. They've broken the curse. I think that loss has more to do with Illinois and the weaknesses they have than it is Indiana being this great, great team. Make no mistake, Indiana is a very good football team. They're probably going back in the playoff again this year. I just don't think Indiana is quite on the level of an Oregon, of a Miami, of Ohio State, of an Alabama, of these other teams, these other programs. I think here on the road against an Oregon team coming off a Penn State win, they got some rest. They're well rested. Now getting to come home and take on this Hoosier squad that, again, is kind of unproven in spots like this. From a matchup standpoint, I mean, we can talk about it, but really they're both dominant in every category. Indiana, top 5 scoring offense in the nation. Their passing offense leaves a little to be desired, but their rushing offense, I mean, they're averaging just shy of 268 rushing yards per game as a team. Looking at Oregon's defense, very strong. They do have a little weak point there. Their pass rush isn't great, and their rushing yards allowed per game, not great, but not terrible, 39th in the nation. And if you flip it around, Indiana's defense ranks very strong. Oregon's offense ranks pretty good. You do see a couple advantage points there for Indiana. Obviously their defense top 20 against the run and the pass in terms of yards per game. Oregon's passing offense is fine, not great. But if we're being genuinely honest from a numbers perspective, these teams rank pretty close. Like, there's not too much difference. Indiana has a couple advantages there, but for the most part, I think there's a pretty even matchups. I think the home field advantage is going to be massive in this spot for the Ducks. Look at the last 10 games. They've covered the spread of -6.5 in 8 of their last 10 games at home. The only 2 they did not was versus Ohio State last year, where they did win that game, but obviously only by a point. And then Boise State, where they also won that game, but only by 3 points. To re-clarify, Oregon has won each of their last 10 home games and have covered the spread of -6.5 in 8 of those 10. So pretty good home numbers there for Oregon. Looking at Indiana on the road, the spread numbers are not terrible, but they're not as good as they are at home for Indiana. Look at each of their last 3 road games. This includes last year's numbers and so far the Iowa game this year, their only road contest. They failed to cover the spread each of the last 3 road games. In terms of +6.5, they've covered it in 4 of their last 6 road games. So, it's not terrible, but obviously, you can see the last few road games when they played tougher competition, Indiana, they do still, like in Iowa's case, they beat Iowa, but they just didn't cover the spread. They haven't played as strongly as you'd hope. And ultimately, this team has only had 1 road game at Iowa. They struggled a bit in that spot. Now you have to go on the road against Oregon, and I do question how efficient Indiana is going to be in this spot. You look at Ohio State. Now, again, this is last year, but Ohio State last year, they got rinsed. Notre Dame last year, they got rinsed. So I have a lot of question marks about Indiana on the road here. You have the insights provided by Outlier as well. The Hoosiers are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games versus top 25 scoring defenses. Obviously, I'd feel way more comfortable if the spread was closer to something like 3 points or 4 points, but we're getting at 6.5. I still trust Oregon with that home field advantage, off a bye, off a Penn State win, to go ahead and take care of business at home. They win this game, there's a good chance that Oregon could be ranked like number 1 in the country after this week, depending on what happens in the Ohio State-Illinois game. Really big spot. Dan Lanning, a little bit more experience in these big-time spots than a Curt Cignetti. I think Oregon takes care of business at home here. I think it's going to be an interesting game, a really fun game. But I think Oregon, again, I got to see Indiana win a game like this, or at least keep a game like this close before I can go ahead and put my money on them. Right now, I think Oregon is the safer side, the smarter side. So we're rocking with Oregon here, -6.5. All right, guys, for my second pick, and despite how good both these defenses are, I am actually rocking with the over in this spot, 52.5. Which I'm grabbing for -113, best odds available to me over on FanDuel. Right off the bat, there is some sharp action here on the over. According to Action Network, 56% of the money of the public, let me rephrase that. 56% of the public tickets are on the under, which means the public, the majority of bettors are rocking the under here. However, 60% of the money is on the over, which tells you the sharp bettors, the bigger bettors, they are backing the over, while the public seems to be backing not a huge discrepancy. It's like a 16% differential, but it is still something to note. And for both these teams, they've each had 1 ranked game that they played. Both of them won. Indiana beat Illinois 63-10. It's tough. Obviously, the over crushed in that game. It's hard to really go off of that, though, because Indiana scored 63 points. I really doubt they're scoring 63 against this Oregon team. However, in the Penn State game, it was 30-24. It was a pretty high-scoring game between those two sides. So despite how good Oregon's defense was, Penn State was able to score some points. I do think Indiana is going to score. I think Indiana will have a couple good successful runs. They have a clear advantage, their rushing offense versus Oregon's rushing defense. I do think Indiana will score, but I just think at the end of the day, Oregon will score a little bit more. Indiana's defense is very good, but this is, again, going back to last year, it's kind of a similar story, right? Yes, their defense is very good, but look what happened when they played Notre Dame. They gave 27 points. They played Ohio State, 38 points. Like, when they played some of these better competition teams, their defense does not hold as strongly. When Indiana plays your Iowas, even Illinois, which is, offensively they have great potential, but this year they've been a little inconsistent offensively. Even going back to last year when you play your Michigan States, your Michigan offense from last year, your Purdue, like when you play those teams who offensively were challenged, Of course, Indiana's defense looks dominant, but when they play the tougher competition, again, it's the James Franklin thing all over again, where it's like they beat up on the teams they should beat up on, but then when they play up to competition, a lot of those metrics, a lot of those advantages they have, they kind of disappear. We'll see. Again, this is a different team. The only piece of evidence we have is the Illinois game, but again, Illinois to me is a very flawed team. Defensively, they have offensive line issues. I have a lot of question marks with Illinois. And so I don't know how much I can take away from Indiana in that spot. I do think Indiana will score in the ballpark of 21 to 24 points. I honestly think this game could be very similar to that Oregon-Penn State game where Oregon wins it like 31-24. I think it's a very realistic outcome, and obviously in that position, the over hits. I think that both have elite offenses, and ultimately, I think in college football, those elite offenses mean more than these elite defenses. You see it time and time again when these top teams meet who have these stacked defenses. They play each other, and all of a sudden, those stacked defenses don't look as stacked anymore because A, you're not playing cupcakes anymore, and B, no offense to the cupcakes out there, the lower teams, but you're not playing a weaker schedule. You're not playing the best of the best, and both of these offenses have, whether it be in the offensive line, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the running backs, there's a lot of NFL talent, or if not NFL talent, close to NFL talent. These are stacked rosters. NIL paid good money for these rosters, okay? And when these offenses meet, as good as defenses are, it's just tough to stop these guys. So I think the over is a good play. Again, you saw Indiana when they played tougher competition last year, higher totals. Oregon, too. I mean, they're not different either. You look at them last year, last 10 games. Again, Penn State went over. You go to the Ohio State game last year, over. Penn State last year, way over. Washington last year, over. I mean, when they play tough teams, too, it goes over. So I do definitely like the over in this spot. By the way, guys, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Outlier. All the numbers, all the data you've seen so far in today's video is brought to you by Outlier, the best sports betting tool on the market. If you've watched my videos, guys, you know I use Outlier in every single video, whether it be NFL, NBA, college football, any sport I've used, I use Outlier as my primary betting tool, sports betting tool. It's a fantastic option to have. I say it all the time. Outlier made me a smarter sports bettor and ultimately a better sports bettor. We have a free trial. When you use the link down below in the description, you get a 7-day free trial to check out Outlier for yourself. I'm telling you guys, check it out. You will not be disappointed with Outlier. It genuinely is going to give you a lot of edges when it comes to your bets. It's going to give you some sharper insights, some sharper analysis to make better sports betting plays. Use that link down below in the description, 7-day free trial. Thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video and being a proud sponsor of Guy Boston Sports. And wrapping things up, guys, our third and final pick in today's video is a player prop. We're going with Roman Hemby, the running back for the Hoosiers here, over 58.5 rushing yards. We're grabbing that from -114 over on FanDuel. FanDuel, the predominant sports book in today's video. Numbers so far this year have been very strong. He's cashed in 4 of 5 games, averaging 70.2 rushing yards per game. He has been obviously the top running back in this offense. Look down below here, a 30.1% run share, 65 carries. Although Kalen Black is right behind him, Roman Hemby is definitely the feature back in this offense. Pretty good numbers, averaging 5.7 yards per carry this year. He's averaging about 13 carries per game. Again, one of the key advantages Indiana has in this matchup is their rushing offense, which is top 10 in the nation. Against an Oregon defense that's not bad against the run, but obviously is not one of the best in the nation. They're definitely teams that are better than them. That's the one weak area really of their defense. And if we look down below at what other running backs did against this Oregon team, I look at Penn State game, not much went on there, but Caleb Komolafe, I did the best I could with that one. He had 53 yards for Northwestern, cash is over. Caleb Hicks for Oklahoma State, he had 63 yards, cash is over. So you have seen a couple running backs go over their line and even come close to what this line is. You also have the fact that, Katron Allen got close, 54 rushing yards in that game for Penn State. Indiana has one of the best offensive lines in the nation. Really strong running game, in great part due to that offensive line. And you do see Oregon's numbers, again, tackles for loss tied for 120th. They don't really have that dominant pass rush or that dominant defense that can get kind of in behind the line of scrimmage, get to the running back. So I do think that he could have a decent day on the ground. I don't think that will translate to a win for Indiana, but I do think they should have some success in the ground game. I think that's probably their strategy, is run the football and try to keep the ball out of Oregon's hands. I don't think it'll be successful all day long. I don't think Indiana's going to rush for almost 300 yards in this game, but I do think Roman Hemby getting to like 59, 60 yards is very realistic in this spot. So I think it's a really good player prop. Again, -114. We have the insights provided by Outlier. He's exceeded 59.5 rushing yards in 5 of his last 6 games. That, of course, dates back to last year when he was with Maryland. He did play Oregon last year as a member of the Terps, but he only had 34 yards in that game. Again, very different team, very different circumstances. This Indiana offensive line, obviously, way better than Maryland's offensive line. So, yeah, pretty good spot here. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. We'll be back next week with some more college football content. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy Week 7 of college football. Enjoy this particular game here, Indiana-Oregon, as well as all of the big-time matchups this week. We'll be back next week with some more college football videos. Until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your week. Let's go ahead. Make some money, baby. Let's go.